All right, Coach, if you want to get started off with a brief statement, we can open up to questions after.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank everybody for being here today. It's almost hard to believe that November is upon us. I heard on the radio yesterday, I remember when games started December 1st, we're going to play November 3rd. So a lot has changed in college basketball, not only with the portal and NIL, but the timing of the season. So it's definitely upon us. I think this group of guys is really excited to get to play. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they respond early on. I think that one of the things people don't take into account with college basketball now, with almost every program having so many new players, and this is the first year we've had more than 4 or 5. I think there's a lot of learning that has to take place. There's a lot of defining roles that has to take place. I would argue that every guy on our team, even if he's returning, like in LJ Wells, he's a really good player in the Horizon League, that they're either in a totally different role as a returner, or everything that we do and expect of them is new. And we make no apologies here for being very demanding in how we coach them, and for the standard that we set for how we play, what our expectations are. And quite frankly, that's greater than any of these guys that have not been in our program have experienced. And so I think, the thing that I'm most excited about with this group is how they continue to respond to that with the challenges of the games coming. And so we're really excited about this team. I think we've got really good length. I think we're a little more athletic than we've been from top to bottom. I think we've got potential to have really good depth as we develop some guys. And so looking forward to getting started next week.
To Kale and Ethan, you talked about demanding, make no apologies. Has it been more demanding than you thought it would be?
Not really, I don't think. Definitely, when we talked about in our video call, it was like, I'm going to coach you very hard and I'm going to make you a better player. So, I love it. We brought up a good point yesterday. Coach Sy brought up, look yourself in the mirror and ask why you came here. And that's why I came here, to make myself a better player on and off the court. So it just means they care about me, and I like that, so it's good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like what you said, it's the reason why most of us came here is to be in a winning program, and we want to continue that tradition so that we can win ourselves and get better.
You touched on it at Dayton at the CareSource game. How do you go about getting such talented international players?
I think not that this is necessarily new, but I think it's more prevalent now with the portal and all the recruiting that you do in the spring in such a short period of time. That we look at it like any foreign player is. It's just another pool to recruit from, right? Another source, so to speak, in recruiting. And some of that's a little misleading. Obviously, Kale's from New Zealand, but he's been in the States 4 years, playing basketball here, and has gotten a little bit more accustomed. We hear way more interesting things from Ethan than we do Kale, because Kale's been Americanized a little bit. But I just think it's another pool to recruit from, and I think it's a great fit. I mean, you take a young man like Ethan. Here's a guy who's been out of school a few years, been playing in the essentially kind of the development league in Australia, and wanted to come over here and, as he said, get better and be a part of a winning program and develop his game, for his future. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of it moving forward. I think it's really beneficial for a lot of foreign players. I think it's really beneficial financially for the guys that are going to the Power 4 schools relative to maybe where they might be on their European or other places teams. And so we like it, and I think there's a maturity level a lot of times that comes with it. Juan Marez is a young man that's not even 19 yet, but he's 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan. We're probably not going head to head with schools in the States, and then getting a guy like him, we think he's got a really bright future here. So we really enjoy it and think it's really a great resource for recruiting.
Yeah, I got a couple for the players, starting with ULJ. In mid-major, it's very rare for retention as far as a guy going 4 years, and for a fan base like this one, who craves a guy staying here for 4 years, it's really positive to see you come back. So what went into your decision to not be tempted to go into the portal and stay here and have a chance to not only complete your career, but also get a degree from NKU?
Honestly, I had no thoughts of, entering the portal. Reason being, like, this is like my second home. I love my coaches, I love the team, things like that. And we have a culture of winning, and we didn't get the opportunity to do that last year. And so that's just something that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, and I didn't want to, leave on that note. I wanted to come back and, bring this team a championship.
And then before I go to those two guys, Coach kind of talked about roles changing. You both can talk about that, Coach, and LJ. What do you see out of LJ here in his senior year as far as the changing of the role?
For me, definitely a bigger leadership role, I would say. I know what it's like to be in this program. We have a bunch of new guys, and I've seen what it's like to win, what it takes. So, kind of showing the guys, whether that's me telling them or leading by example. But yeah, it's like that leadership role, and then, just being a more important player on the team.
Okay. And you want to follow up on that, Coach?
Yeah, I think, LJ touched on it. He's one of the few guys that's been here. He's the only guy in our program, along with Mitchell Minor, our walk-on, who has experience winning a championship. And so he's seen what goes into that and what that takes. And I think that he is becoming more vocal as a leader. He's doing a terrific job of setting the example every day. And I think from a basketball standpoint, when we talk about different roles, most people automatically assume, fans and sometimes media, though I think the media is much more savvy than a lot of fans sometimes, that just means points and rebounds, where he's going to average more, right? He's going to shoot more. And he probably will, but to me it means more of a level of consistency. I mean, this is a guy that had, I think, 4 double-doubles last year. At times, looked like he was as good as anybody in our league at his position and what he does. And so is he going to average a double-double? I don't know. But, a level of consistency with that, that when we say increased role, we're really just talking about a level of consistency of what you can do. One of the things that's exciting to me about this group is we don't have a Dantes Wolf. We don't have a Marquez Warwick type guy that you just know if you throw him out there, the numbers are going to flow and the big plays are going to happen over and over again. We've got a lot of really good players, and I think LJ with consistency can play like one of those guys. And so when we say increased role, I'm talking more about the consistency of that and the overall impact, as he mentioned too, in leadership and the way he plays.
And then as far as Kale and Ethan go, you're from New Zealand and Australia, so you're practically neighbors, right? I mean, you got a little bit of that in common, but I want you each to talk about your story of getting here. We kind of heard Ethan's for the folks that were up in Dayton, but Kale, how did you end up here at NKU? Obviously, Coach talked about you being in the United States for a number of years already. So just kind of each of you, but starting with you, Kale, what was the process to get you here?
So I came out of high school and went to an NAIA school in Montana, Rocky Mountain College. I was there for 3 years, and then transferred to Montana State Billings, the Division II school. And then because of the new waiver rule with the NAIA doesn't count for so years, I got 1 more extra year through the waiver and ended up getting an opportunity here, which I'm very thankful for.
Okay, and since Ethan's gonna answer it with this, since he's coming here straight from Australia, as far as from you getting to New Zealand to Montana, how was that process?
Yeah, that was interesting. I kind of did a similar thing to Ethan. I graduated high school in December 2020, and then I moved down to a different city to play for the development league in New Zealand that's the equivalent of Ethan's, and won a championship with them, and then through that got exposed to some of the coaches here and ended up going to Montana.
Okay. And then Ethan, go ahead and for anybody that didn't hear it already, talk about your journey to end up here from Australia to Highlands.
Yeah, so in 2022, I moved to Canberra, which is Australia's capital, and I attended the Australian Institute of Sport, which is like the hub for all the best Australian players to come and train and get prepared for college. But me being a very home boy and loving my family, I decided to go back home after graduating and not go to America for college. And I was playing the semi-professional league for my home club, Warwick, and then made the move to Joondalup because I thought that was the next best thing for me. And then I just growing up a little bit, I decided that it's time to. I had a little pause in my career that I thought in Australia I wasn't really going where I wanted to go. So I just asked a question. I was like, "Can we do it?" And it came up pretty quickly, and I got a few calls from coaches and stuff. But it was no question that NKU was definitely the best place for me to succeed and make the next level. So yeah.
And then coach, just talk about them guys as players, their role here on the team.
Yeah, I think starting with Kale. Kale was his position, his type of player was our number one priority in recruiting. We just feel like with the way that we're playing offensively, especially now, a guy that can play inside out, has great versatility, can really impact our program. And losing Trey Robinson from Hamilton, Ohio, we just thought we'd go get another Robinson from a place called Hamilton, just different, country. I think you saw, Trey's growth last year in terms of his impact with some numbers and some of the games he had, and that position is really important to us. So Kale was a very quickly a high priority to us, and when we knew we needed a playmaker, and we knew we needed a guy like Kale, and so when my way of recruiting, especially in this kind of quick portal, some days the cycle's 7 days, some days it's a couple weeks, is if I like it, I'm going all in. And so I was on a plane pretty quickly, a very expensive flight to Billings, Montana, which took forever to get there, and spent the day with Kale and kind of laid out our plan and our vision for him. And we're fortunate, and he picked us over Stephen F. Austin, which is a really strong mid-major program, has great facilities, a way better facility and situation that way than us. I mean, we still don't have a second gym to practice in here at NKU. They've got a beautiful, I don't know what they tell you, $20 million facility or something that they use. So. I think it was a good match about the right things, and then Ethan was very similar. Just no plane trip. As soon as I saw the film and looked at the numbers, his game speaks for itself. But I think this young man brings an energy that really impacts winning. I think he's a guy that elevates others. And makes people around him better. In addition to that, he can really play himself and go get some baskets and score the ball as well. And I think what's really exciting is both of these guys have a lot of room to grow and get better as players. Some of that's mental, right? Some of that's their approach. Some of that's basketball specific. But I think even more exciting than that in terms of fit, and this is the hardest part to me in recruiting the portal. This used to take 3-4 years. I still talk with guys I coached 20 years ago, a lot of times as an assistant. I recruited those guys for 4 years. Literally, would start sometimes when they were freshmen. I mean, I knew their cousins' names. I went to a birthday party. I mean, you name it. And now it's very short. And so you're trying to match up, I think, similar values in terms of what both want. And our recruiting pitch is not sexy at all. It's very to the point. It's very, we're going to coach you hard. We expect to win here, and by winning we mean championships. And we're going to demand a lot from you. And when you find two guys like this, that's what they're looking for and are willing to do it. That can also really play. For as a coach, we consider that a real win in recruiting, especially in today's portal era.
Coach, you played 2 exhibition games. What did you like about what you saw in those?
Again, I like our length and athleticism. I like how fast I think we have to play. Every coach stands up here and says, we're going to play fast. You guys have probably seen the meme deal of all the cuts from the press conferences in the spring with the new coaches. We're going to play fast, we're going to play fast. The truth is you play as fast as your roster allows you to, right, from a talent and athleticism standpoint. And we actually have a group that can play really fast. A big part of that is I think our passing and our skill level is improved. More guys that can make decisions and reads. Kel's going to play the 4 for us. Might be next to Ethan as good a passer as we have. Taysha's a really good passer. I think LJ Wells may be as good a passing big man as there is in college basketball. And so there's some things like that have been really encouraging. As you might imagine, knowing me a little bit, Jim, and just given the time of year, we got to get a lot tougher. I mean, a lot tougher. We've got to value defense and rebounding at a much higher level. And again, I think in part because it's going to have to be collective. Chris Brandon from years ago is not out there where, okay, there's going to be 10 rebounds every night. I think LJ can maybe come close to that for sure if he sets his mind to it. But I also think collectively we could be a very good rebounding team because we've got a little more length on the perimeter and some guys that can go do that. Dan Goretzka could be a really good rebounder from the guard position. Taysha could be an excellent rebounder. I would argue Donovan O'Day's as good an athlete as we've had since I've been here. I mean, a dynamic physical athlete from the perimeter. But we've all got to be committed to rebounding at a high level as well. And so I think probably in all of these press conferences around the country, you're hearing those same things because those are things that take some work and they take some time and some commitment and some understanding of the level and intensity that it takes to be good on that end. And so all that said, I think we have a chance to be as good defensively as we've ever been since I've been here because of that personnel. So it'll be exciting to see how this group grows.
For Kale and Ethan, when you run into somebody maybe you went to high school with and they say, where the heck are you now? How do you describe where you are now? Where is this place?
I mean, I wouldn't really describe, this is the only place I've been to in America, so I don't really describe it as where I am. I describe it as a place that benefits me, that I'm at the right place. I think with the coaches we got, the family-oriented team we got, I think I'm at the right place for me, no matter where it is in the country. I think I'm just at the right place. That's how I describe it.
Yeah, I think it was a little harder to describe where I was when I was in Montana. Here it's pretty cool. A lot of people ask me like what it's like, and a lot of people don't know the geography of America from people back home. So I have to tell them it's like right in the middle of the country on the eastern side. A lot more people, obviously, compared to Montana where I was at. Just like what Ethan said, it's a place that really benefits both of us, and I think a lot of people on the team. Just the environment that we're in as well.
Now, I would say, Don, to add to that, we're learning a lot too, right? Like, did you know Perth was so far away from the rest of Eastern Australia? It's like a 5-hour flight, right? Yeah. I didn't know that. I've been to Australia. I didn't know that. I didn't know New Zealand was technically 2 islands, right? There's a north and a south. Kale's from the north, and so I think along those lines too, something that's gotten lost in college basketball, maybe especially here, as Brady touched on with what our people value. Like, I think we're still doing what people love about college basketball, especially in Northern Kentucky, as good as anybody in the country. You look at our team, and we're literally international and incredibly diverse. We've got guys from all over the place and all kinds of different backgrounds and family situations and educational backgrounds as well. They're all going to graduate. You guys know how I know that, right? Because every player we've ever had has graduated. We have a 100% graduation rate. Carried a 3.0 team GPA last year. We do a little bit of winning along the way. And these are all really high character kids that represent us so well off the court, and hopefully we're impacting them for their future. And in basketball, we focus a lot on what that means for professional basketball, right? Like Michael Bradley almost had a dang near triple-double the other night. That's a guy that had no chance to play professional basketball before he came here. That's great. And that's a big part of it for us and a big part of our focus, because that's what these guys want, right? We're trying to help them reach their dreams. But we're still doing the old college student thing. They just might not stick around as long, right? And they're going to get, you know, some money in the process, which they should. They should get. And so, you know, that would be one of my, you know, key things and messages to our fans, is that we're still doing the same things that you loved about, you know, Northern Kentucky University when Coach Shields, the legend, was here. You know, we're trying to help these guys be better players and better people. They're getting educated along the way, and they're the kind of guys that you want to be around. And so hopefully people will see that as they watch us play, and come out and support these guys, because it's a really good group.
Challenge system, can you talk about how you will utilize that?
Say it again.
Challenge system?
Jim is really interested in the challenge system.
Yeah.
It's a new rule this year where we can challenge. It's much different than the NBA. We literally had the official supervisor here yesterday. It's really not that big a deal. We can only do 3 things: a goaltend, and out of bounds if we want to, or if somebody is in the arc on one of those foul calls. And so that's really all there is to it. If we have to have a timeout in order to do it. If you win it, you get another challenge and you get to keep your timeout. If you lose it, you're out of challenges and you lose your timeout. So there's a little bit of strategy, gamesmanship to it, like probably not doing it on a ball I know went out of bounds on the other team 3 minutes into the game, right? Because who cares? And so, you know, there's some stuff like that that's got to be taken into consideration. You know, it's depending on the time and scores. Do I feel like my timeout's more important, or really having the ball, or, you know, is it LJ's 4th foul or 5th foul? You know, we think he wasn't in the arc. In fact, we did challenge one in our exhibition in Dayton, and were successful because the defensive player was in the arc. And so, you know, I think it's maybe not as impactful as people think it's going to be, like the NBA. I mean, the NBA, when they go back, they review the entire play. They'll change everything about the play. This is not that, but something that we can use. And really the only goal of it is to speed up the pace of play so that they're not checking the monitor all the time. They're not going to be checking the monitor every time a ball goes out of bounds in the last 2 minutes now.
How much on that, the fact that, will the video equipment at every place you play be the same, so that you have the same ability to review?
That is a true veteran question right there. And no, it's not, and it's a problem. And it's one of the challenges that we have, especially in our league, where I think 6 schools have the video system that you need. I can't call the name of it off the top of my head. DV Sports, maybe? Is that right, Madison? DV Sport. Mandated by the league to purchase, but to be purchased within a certain time frame, right? And, you know, some people purchased it right away, some didn't. We do not have it. We do not have it. And strategy-wise, that is one of the things that's going to make a big difference, because if you don't have all the proper angles, it doesn't matter if you're right. If they can't see it on the video because they didn't get the right angle, you're not going to win the challenge, and you're going to lose that. And so that is going to be a consideration and a potential issue this year for us in league play specifically. Won't be at the power schools, won't be in the NCAA tournament, but, you know, now, and the other part of that is the video feed, right? Because, like, for example, the other night, the way the rule works, you have to make the challenge before they officially call the timeout. Ours happened right before media. So before the official officially goes to the table and says, start the media timeout, you have to have your challenge in. And so you're over there watching the video, and, you know, how many angles can you get to? How good is the feed? How, you know, all of that. So that absolutely is a consideration with the rule this year, until everybody is on the same page with the correct video system.
Are you gonna have to scout video opportunity before the game? I mean, are you gonna have to?
Yeah, no question. And I think do our best to try to get a trial run. You know, the other night we were able to feed into the actual arena feed and have the computer on the bench and be able to show it. Our manager that pulled the video up was very proud of himself for pulling it up. I told him he wouldn't have been as proud if the challenge had been wrong, but it's there's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes into it. And so it's not as simple as, oh cool, we're going to get the challenge and it looks just like the NBA. It's a little different than that. And again, I think that there's some strategy to it late as well. And what's most important to you? What do you value the most? That like the only way right now that, and we've still got a week or so to make some decisions on it. But the only thing right now where I would use one early, I think, is if LJ Wells is about to pick up his 4th foul in the first half, and we don't think he fouled, and we think the video says he didn't foul, I might challenge that to keep him around. I'd rather have him around in the game late than I would, a challenge on some call, if that makes sense. But other than that, I don't know that there's a lot of reason to use them early. Yes, sir.
There's one other issue that seems to be bubbling to the surface in college basketball, and that's betting. And I know when I talk to people at, like the Big 10, Big 12, SEC, they seem to be really kind of concerned about that. I don't know if that is a factor for you guys, but it's one of the issues is college kids today have been, they've got basically a betting table in their telephone. And a lot of them have been betting on sports since they were in high school. How much of an issue is that, say at the Horizon League level, that you guys think about?
Well, I think it's an issue for everybody. I think it's twofold. In fact, we have a planned session later this week to address some stuff with our guys on it. It's twofold. It's one, what you're talking about, just in general, right? It's been made really easy. It's on an app. It's in your phone, and just the actual just gambling itself, right? And what that looks like, what that means, the dangers of it, and all of those kind of things. I think the second part is, what we've seen come out, this week, and that is that information is part of this. And, you may think you're casually telling some dude you're walking on campus with, oh yeah, LJ's banged up, I don't know if he's gonna play tonight. And, you can't do that anymore in today's world. And so, those kind of things as well, and staying away from people in situations that could impact that negatively. So I think it's kind of twofold. I think it is definitely a potential issue. Our greatest concern would be just, again, the general of it, and guys, understand this, like a lot of other things in life, how you handle it, deal with it, approach it. That would be the first concern for our guys, and then the second is the competitive part of it, which is also really important.
For those of us who don't know, how much can you bet Northern games?
Well, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not at all. The rule they passed with the NCAA.
No, I mean in general, not these guys, but the general public.
How much do they?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't pay any attention to that.
I don't either,
So I couldn't tell you anything about any of it.
Yeah.
Ask me about horse racing, maybe, at Derby time, but anything else, I have no idea. Wrong guy to ask.
Everyone all good?
Mhm.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.